Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started, and if there's no sound, I guess somebody will let me know, hopefully. Um, so again, this is Bill Costanzo, Livestock Guardian Dog Program Specialist at the AgriLife Center in San Angelo. I do want to thank our sponsors of the program, Spot On Fence, for helping provide funding for the program and things that we do. Also, the Sheep and Goat Predator Board. We definitely couldn't have the Livestock Guardian Dog Program without that checkoff program. So thank you, both of those funding sources. So this is our 30-second Q&A session. For those that haven't logged on before, thank you for logging on today. We have two questions today from producers, and so if there's anybody that is logging on that would like a question answered live here today, feel free to go ahead and post that in the comments, and I should have time to get to that. So first question is from Sarah Smith. She wanted to know, should a dog be allowed to defend when stock attempts to take something from it, or should they always submit? So some background. One of her dogs lost more than a few meals to goats when she was younger, before Sarah found a good way to kind of goat-proof the feeding area. She never missed a meal. However, the dog lost a few bowls of kibble, which were refilled, and Sarah helped guard it while she ate. A few weeks ago, a bunch of pumpkins were given out for the goats. The dogs like to play with them and eat them as well, she says. I gave the girls two of them while the rest went to the goats. The goats ate theirs, but her one dog, Luna, did not give up, or did not want to give up her pumpkin, so she defended it because she believed it was hers. She did get corrected when she snapped at a persistent goat, and thank you, Sarah, for sending in those videos. Videos are always really helpful to deal with any of these type of questions that y'all have. She said it's not a normal thing. It happens occasionally. And she has some, or let's see, it happens occasionally when certain items that the goats and the dogs both enjoy. And so I guess my first thing, Sarah, is again, thank you for the videos. They were helpful, and also that second video with your other dog as well. I had a similar situation behavior-wise with a dog that I had. Kind of the same type of thing. The goats would eat his food when he was younger, and it was when I was kind of just first starting out with guard dogs myself. And as he matured, he became very aggressive if the sheep approached his feed, and so generally, I guess what I would say is I think it's okay for them to defend their feed. Otherwise the goats or the sheep will just come in and eat all the dog food, and then your dog loses out and may not have the energy or the ability to protect the sheep or goats. And so I don't think it's wrong for them to do that. What I don't tolerate, however, is any type of resource guarding that happens. So if it's some sort of dog-on-dog issue, if you have like a feeding station, for instance, and one dog is always at the feeding station guarding it, or gets there first and doesn't let anybody else get in the feeding station when they're eating, that type of thing I don't tolerate, and I do sternly correct the dogs. If I see that, we see that a lot of times in the puppies in our bonding project, and like I said, we correct that immediately, because what happens is if you let that type of behavior continue, or if you're not stern in correcting that type of behavior, you end up with dogs that are either severely injured or dead. And so you can't tolerate resource guarding with dog on dog type of things. The behavior in the video that I watched, I felt like that was fairly mild guarding. Neither of the dogs really, other than just a bark or a snap, they didn't go and chase the goats or grab a hold of them or anything like that. If I saw that kind of behavior, yes, I would definitely discipline the dog and not allow that type of thing. But I think what I saw, was okay in the videos, at least as far as in my opinion. If anybody else, has watched those and wants to make any comments, feel free. But even the second video, I didn't think that dog was being overly aggressive either towards the goats. They gave the goats some warning. If the goats continued, then the dogs barked a little bit deeper and growled some, and then took a step or two forward, and eventually the goats backed off, and the goats realized that that's the dog's food, which they should. Your dog should be able to eat in peace, so that they have the energy to protect your livestock, should a predator come by. So if you've got any other questions or anything, Sarah, since you're logged on today, feel free to post those in the comments. I appreciate the question. That's one we haven't gotten in the past before, so thank you for that one. Our next question is from John Mosiah. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly, John. He got their first Maremma male. They call him Gus, and so when they picked him up at 10 weeks old, and he's now 7 months old, they have him with a small flock of Katahdin sheep. And let's see, they've had the sheep for about 3 months now, and over the 3 months, the dog has grabbed all three of the sheep by the ear, drawing blood on all three of them at some point. And in the latest incident, he ripped the ear of one of the ewes about 2 inches. So they've got him separated, and he's in a paddock next to the 3 sheep, separated by some electrical poly tape. And so, first, John, I would say, the pup's 7 months. He's definitely coming into probably adolescence a little bit early than what we commonly see, but it's definitely within the window. John, adolescence in these dogs is going to start approximately 8 months old and go to about 18 months. And like I said, there's a little bit of variation on the side either way, earlier or longer, or both even. And so your dog is starting to be a teenager, and they're going to do, they're going to be good at times, and then they're going to do some bad things at times, and you have to correct that behavior. Preferably the quicker that you correct it, the better, because it probably has been going on longer than what you've seen usually. I guess the first thing I would say, John, is, if you've only got 3 sheep, you honestly, you probably don't need a livestock guardian dog. Your money would probably be better spent in investing in some good quality fencing, some good predator-proof wire and things like that. Now, if you're planning on expanding and getting more than just a handful of sheep, then I would say keep the dog and continue to work with it and train it. Part of the problem is with 3 sheep, the dog just doesn't have a lot to do, and it's bored. And what happens is when they're bored, especially young dogs, is they find things to occupy their time. And so, if you're logged on, if you've tried any, bones or anything, any type of like chew toys or anything like that for them, those would all be things that I would recommend to kind of, displace some of that energy. I have some of this same type of thing going on currently with a 1-year-old Great Pyrenees male that I have. And, most of the time he's a good dog. But every once in a while, I'll see him chase the sheep and I'll yell at him. But to keep him from chewing on the sheep and the goats, he's got some rope toys out there or anything that I can find, some sticks for him sometimes if he's chewed up some of the toys that we've gotten for him before we have a chance to get another one. But anything like that'll, take some of that energy out from him would be good. The other thing I would say is, if you've only got a few sheep, if you're going to be getting a ram, I would encourage you to do that and place that puppy in with the ram, especially if it's a good mature ram. The mature rams or billies generally don't tolerate that kind of behavior from an adolescent guard dog. And that's a super easy way to, teach that dog some submissive behavior, which definitely needs to happen. If that's not possible or it's too far away into the future, it's hard with just so few sheep. But again, I normally don't go right to this, but you may want to get a shock collar because I think the behavior is going to get worse. And so, since you don't have enough animals to kind of help correct him on his own, I do think it's good that you've got him separated. But at some point he needs to be back in with those sheep. And so, I've mentioned this in the past before on these Q&As. What I would probably do would be to purposely set them up, put the collar on them, have it on full charge, and, maximum tone, maximum vibrate, maximum shock. And every time he even goes near the sheep if you think he's going to bite like an ear or grab a back leg or chew on a tail or something like that, go through the settings, hit the tone, hit the vibrate, hit the shock. I would do that for probably about 15 minutes a day for 5 to 6 days. And by that point, I would think he'll probably, likely be cured of that issue. Now, something else may definitely occur, John. So he may go into chasing. He could start barking a lot, excessive digging. There's all kinds of bad teenage guard dog behaviors that they will do. And sometimes it's just one behavior, and sometimes a dog will go through every single one of them. It really just kind of depends on the dog. It has nothing to do with you or the situation. Every guard dog is different, just like every person is. So hopefully that helps answer your question. But those would be my two recommendations. You could just keep him out or keep him away for a while, but that's probably not going to solve the problem long term. He's not going to grow out of that behavior by keeping him separated. So, well, I don't see any other questions posted in the chat today. Oh, appreciate everybody logging on. I'm not sure if the poll that I did actually got sent out to everybody here that was logging in or not. That's kind of something new that I tried. And, if it did, I guess I'm just kind of curious, whether these Q&A sessions are helpful to you folks and, if you'd like to see them continue. So, anybody that logs onto this thing later on and watches the Q&A, if you don't mind just throwing some stuff into the comments, I would sure appreciate it. Sometimes we get lots of questions and sometimes we only get a couple. But if you like these Q&A sessions, feel free to let me know in the comments. I would sure appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and wrap up today. Again, I do want to thank the Sheep and Goat Predator Management Board for the providing funding for the Guard Dog program, and also Spot On Fence for their sponsorship of these Q&A sessions. We will be having a Guard Dog Field Day on May the 2nd at the AgriLife Center in San Angelo. I know some folks like to plan out a ways, and so that will be the date. It will be at the center. It'll be our kind of normal thing from 8 to 4. And, we'll have several workshops and probably a tour of either a producer that's close to the center or possibly our facilities and see some of our dogs that we have there. Our next Q&A will be on Wednesday, January the 2nd at 2 p.m. I'm going to try to keep these on on Wednesdays next semester, but I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be able to do that with my graduate school courses. So just feel free to check in or shoot me a message if you've got any questions. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you soon.